The original Dark Souls Remastered is coming out in May 2018. Where were you when you heard the news? Dark Souls Remastered has just been announced. I was at work, clearly doing my business, when someone tagged me in a Twitter post, and it was an image with a lot of barcodes in Japanese, which I believe when translated talk about multiple editions of a Dark Souls 1 remaster. And I thought, that'd be bloody cool, wouldn't it, if it was real? But people like to joke about these things. Let's not forget Bloodborne cart now. So I carried on with my day, working hard, as always, when suddenly it happened. Every single Dark Souls related account and unrelated account that I followed just exploded, and I've never had so many retweets on my own posts, not gonna lie. The official Dark Souls account revealed that Dark Souls 1 Remastered will be available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Their YouTube channel posted a spicy reveal trailer. Every Dark Souls YouTube channel has uploaded videos about it, has been tweeting about this monumental news. From Software announced it, Namco Bandai announced it, even Donald Trump announced it.
Tremendous.
However, now that we've had a bit of time to calm down, I think there's a few interesting observations to be made here. Number one, I think we're even more excited than we would normally be, just because it's been so long without any real official news from our favourite developers. I mean, the last thing FromSoft gave us was a teaser trailer for Shadows Die Twice, which we still don't know what that really could be. Tied into this is that it's not a new IP, and it's not a Demon Souls remaster, which is what a lot of people predicted, or should I say they requested. Many would argue that a Demon Souls remake would make more sense, and I never played Demon Souls either, so yeah, sad times in that regard. So I think for a lot of people this will be a great announcement to ease the waiting until the end of the year. It is pretty spectacular news, even if it's only the start of finding out just what projects FromSoft are working on. Number two, we've already learned a lot about what this remaster entails. First of all, we're having the first Dark Souls game to ever be on a Nintendo console, specifically the Nintendo Switch. Portable Dark Souls is something very novel. It'll be interesting to see how that ends up working out, especially since if you think about it, you can't pause Dark Souls. So I can definitely see this creating problems if you're playing the game and then you get interrupted while commuting, for example. Guess we'll have to see how that works out. We do know that the remaster will have the Artorias of the Abyss DLC included as one package. So for people who've never bought the Dark Souls DLC, this will be fantastic. And it is a good bit of content, really fun to play through. The game's publisher has also said that the remaster will have upscaled 4K resolution with 60 FPS, except for the Switch, pretty sure that doesn't apply there. The password matchmaking system from Dark Souls 3, which does work really well, is being implemented in the Dark Souls remaster. There were people in Dark Souls 1, my own friends, that I could not connect to. It was physically impossible for me to connect to certain people in the original Dark Souls game. It drove me crazy, but hopefully that won't be a problem anymore. We're also getting 6-player matchmaking, just like in Dark Souls 3 and Scholar of the First Sin, which is awesome, in my opinion. I think everyone by now knows that my favourite way to PvP in Dark Souls 3 is the huge 6-man brawls in the arena. So chaotic and so fun. I hope you all realise also that now the arena in Dark Souls 1, which was completely dead 99% of the time, because it was split from the base game through the Artorias DLC, so they divided the player base, now actually has the best chance of being used because everyone will have access to the arena. I'm very excited for that. Additionally, the multiplayer now will supposedly have dedicated game servers rather than being peer-to-peer connections, which it was in the past. If you've been a long-time Souls fan, you know that this is interesting news. It'll be nice to play the original Dark Souls game without standing in the same location for half an hour staring at the failed to invade message. I think we can all agree. This will be important because the main part of this announcement for me is the idea of a fresh new Dark Souls with a huge online player base. Constant jolly cooperation, constant invasions, Dark Moon vengeance, Forest Hunter chaos, Dragon covenants, and grave lording. Everything else aside, I just want to try grave lording and have it work better. Or I mean, just have it working, period. I've never been able to get that stupid covenant to work before, and that's a crime, because it might just be the best Dark Souls covenant ever, conceptually. So I'm going to try that for sure, 100%. And also vagrants. They have to keep those. maybe even make them a bit more common to be found. I don't know. It's just Dark Souls had the most mysterious mechanics out of any Souls game. The ways some things worked were incredibly complex and bizarre, but I have to say, out of all of them, Vagrants were the coolest find for me. One of the biggest topics online currently to do with this news, of course, is what are they going to change, aside from visuals and frame rate? Because we know they aren't against drastically changing a game once it's out. Let's just look at Scholar of the First Sin for Dark Souls 2. They completely changed enemy placements and level design, added new NPCs and so on. So will they be making any changes to the core experience for this remaster? Let's think about what could be improved, just as a start, just as an idea. We could say dual wielding sucks. Covenants, we've just mentioned, they didn't work properly, including the terrible rewards they often gave. I think that's a big point that people don't consider. Resistance as a stat, why does it exist? And why do I have to crush souls one at a time? That is a crippling waste of time, is it not? There's loads of quality of life things related to that could just work better. And of course we could go into the issues of PvP, such as chain backstabs and being able to poise through literally everything, but we've heard all of that before. And the final point I've come up with is the game's quality just decreasing after Anor Londo, which is something that's been covered very extensively online, kind of peaking in rush design during Lost Izalith. So all that being said, it's a strange topic. Of course we want our original Dark Souls experience, the game that captivated us, to remain original and faithful. There's a reason we all fell in love with it, right? But then again, there are changes that could be made that would objectively make it better. I do personally hope for some big changes though. Either way, the Souls community finally has something to talk about and something to look forward to. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. I invite you down into the comment section now. Let's start leaving messages to each other, Dark Souls style. See you soon.